To today's show, Fat Bassin. We're here today at Pine Lake. It's a beautiful lake. The temperature today is about 38 degrees. We're going to be going for largemouth bass today. And the water temperature is in the low 40s or the upper 30s. We're not exactly sure. So welcome to today's show. Stay with us and we'll try to go have some fun.
Hi folks, I'm your other host, Dave Mitchell. Welcome to Fat Bassin. Today, as Justin said, the water temperatures in the high 30s to low 40s. This is dead winter tactics here. This is something that most people aren't familiar with. However, Justin and I are experts at this. I think today we're gonna go with some jigging pigs. We're gonna start off in some deep areas, and then as the day goes on, we're blessed with the sun today, so we're gonna look for some areas with highly concentrated rocks, which will warm the water temperature up 3-4 degrees. Even that little bit on a cold day like this should draw the bass in swarms.
All right, we're heading over to our first spot. It's a river right over here, feeds into this lake, and there's two shallow areas. When the river feeds in, it gets a little bit deeper in there. And what we're thinking is, if we get off in front of this river here, this will be some bass deep on where the shallow portions or meet the deep.
Well, folks, like I said, we're fishing the jigging pig at the edge of the mouth of the river. However, it doesn't look like we're having too much luck. The bass just don't seem to be very active at this moment. I think.
Is it on? All right, we moved to an area that's a weed wall. We had some good luck here about a month ago now, and we're looking to see if we still have some luck here. It's a weed wall. It drops sharply. It's about 12 feet deep. The fish were stacked here, like I said, about a month ago, and we're hoping they're still here. So we're just gonna give a few casts like that. They're down there. You can't see them right there, but they're down there. Just let it sit, move it a little bit, let it sit, feel. Not using too much presentation today, just letting it sit and picking it up.
Folks, today we're using the jigging pig, and we got a black jig and a number 11 pork frog on here. See, this thing's supposed to imitate 2-degree of crawfish. It's a common misconception that even though this is a weedy lake, there are very many crawfish in here. In fact, there are some reports that say there are even more crawfish in a weedy lake than there are in its natural, or what it's thought to be its natural habitat, like a rocky river. Well, what we're doing is we're throwing this out there and let it sit in the bottom, and then just hopping it up slowly, and just hope we get something. One of the main things to think about also is to monitor the fall. Very many times you'll get a hit. I know on several of the jigging pig bass that I've caught, I've been on the fall, and that's one of the most exciting things other than catching them on top water is to be monitoring that fall, and all of a sudden see the line jump and just nail them. It's turning out to be a beautiful day today. Sun's out, it's warm. Nice 38, 40 degrees. It hasn't gotten this warm in a couple days. We have seen some fish action today. There was a splash near the boat, and we even thought we might have a couple bites. Nothing quite in the boat yet. All right, I gotta reel this in and make another cast. Monitoring the fall right now. See how the line's semi-taut? That will enable me to see if there's a strike on the way down. Thought I might have had a bite there.
Maybe he's following it. Oh.
Wasn't there. As you can see, it seems like a pretty large bait. We got a jig head with the weed guard on here. What we like to do many times, this weed guard started off much longer. It's made out of fiber, and it's meant to cover the hook so things will just slide over it fairly easily. But if the weed guard's too long, it gets in the way of the fish biting and it feels unnatural. So we like to keep it as short as possible while it still covers the hook.
Alright, we're pulling up on our timber spot here. We've got some logs. It's an isolated piece of cover and near deep water. So pulled up real quietly, gonna stay real far away. Again, throwing the pig. Maybe you hear hunters' guns going off in the background. That's how late in the season it is right now. We're gonna use a little scent on this. It's a real cross scent. Supposedly attracts the bass into thinking it's real. Alright, so I'm just gonna make a cast into this cover, let it sit, move it a little bit, and then let it sit again. And maybe we'll catch a fat one. Alright, let's see what happens. Let it sit, monitor the fall. Gotta feel that wood. Snag going on here right now. Alright, we're on snag now. Give it another shot here. We didn't get in too close, so I don't think we disturbed too much. And caught in the tree right now. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. You know, getting caught in the trees is something any real fisherman does. Alright, now for the real cast. Gonna let it sink down, even though it's over the log. Pull it up, let it sink again. Watch the line. Probably can't see your line on the screen right now, but that's all right. One thing about fishing these spots in the wind is you constantly got to adjust your trolling motor. You got to be aware where you are. You don't want that trolling motor hitting the weeds and making noise and spooking the fish. Constantly got to be over and over again. It takes some skill, a degree of skill to do something like that. About a month ago, I caught two bass out of this spot here. I guess that doesn't matter today though. We're trying to get some today. Right in the middle of the cover. Alright, on that note, I guess we'll pause. Hi. We just moved a couple feet down. We're fishing some lily pads. Seeing if there's hanging shallow today. For unknown reasons. letting it sit there and picking it up. Feeling tons of weeds down there. Despite it being November 14th, you'd think all the weeds would be dead by now, but pads are still on the surface. Everything.
Yeah.
Not more than 3 weeks ago, my co-host and I fished in a tournament in Connecticut at Candlewood Lake. October 25th was the precise date, and Herb Reed, the man who invented the sluggo, folks, the sluggo man was there. We got his picture, we admired the man, but we kicked his ass in the tournament. We beat his ass. That's all I have to say about that tournament. It would be nice to feel a fish strike.
Stop switching sides on me.
Sorry. It would be nice to feel a fish right now. This Friday I'm going to Georgia. A little Thanksgiving, a little fishing. And hopefully the last 5 fish for me to reach 400 for the season. Alright, tell you what, Dave. You must be itching to get a few casts in this prime structure area.
Well, folks, I've switched to a crankbait, seeing as though the jig and bait didn't seem to be working. So we're in a nice, comfortable spot right now, and we're figuring there's probably some bass here. Like I said, I'm fishing a crankbait, and running along the edge of the lines here. There's a really steep drop off along this whole bank. So we're thinking maybe at the bottom here it might have punched up.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Justin and I have been talking about today, and today is definitely one of the coldest days that we fished. And I don't know, we were talking about them, we're not really sure if we got any bites. There's when you're fishing the jig and pig, there's almost never a you can never.
We just lied. We made it up. We didn't have any bites. We just lied about it. We're sorry, though.
You can never be 100% sure if you got any bites with the jig and pig, so we're being very optimistic, so
we won't do it again.
please forgive us. Today, it's turned out to be a nice day, but the fishing basically sucks at Pine Lake today. We've been talking about maybe after our adventure at Pine Lake today, dropping by the Susquehanna River in upstate New York.
Would our viewers like us to go to the Susquehanna River?
I don't know.
What do you hear? Speak up.
I don't know.
I heard.
This is some beautiful scenery around here. The sun's starting to come out. It just turned out to be a nice day. The wind's died. It's still fucking. I mean, it's still freezing.
We'll edit that out later.
Gotta reel the crankbait really slow for this presentation because the bass are extremely lethargic, even though they're cold-blooded animals. Their activity level is in direct proportion to their activity level is in direct proportion to their environmental conditions. And so when they're in a very cold environment, their blood cools down and their metabolism becomes very slow, and they really don't have much and they don't have too much energy to be moving around. So especially in the late winter like this, bass want to expend the least amount of energy for the most amount of fish or whatever their forage may be. We're getting blown along pretty good by the wind here. It looks like it's picked back up. There, I just heard another rifle shot. My hands are blue. They're numb. I think we're gonna pick up the old jig and pig now. Still using the same jig and pig.
All right, I think we're gonna pause for a moment. The wind's picking up, probably blowing in the microphone. Probably can't hear. All right, folks. Well, we've come upon our last spot here. We'll try a little crazy tactic right now, a little spinnerbait action. Go up, try to cast us down the current.
Shit. That sucked.
Go up here. Slow roll the spinnerbait. We're getting blown away from our spot here. We're not really fishing to catch fish anymore. We're just kind of fishing in spots where we're comfortable, where there's no wind and no heat. Well, actually, we're looking for heat. That's why we're out here. Get the action by this log over here. One point I'd like to make out about today, folks, is that fat bassin just isn't about catching bass. It's more than that. It's just appreciating being out in the water and not necessarily having to catch fish. It's just, you're out in the water, you're having fun. Fish is just a bonus. Probably the reason why I'm saying that today is because we haven't caught any fish to make up for that fact, but it's true. It's just enjoyable to be out in the lake rather than be in some class doing work. This is much more fun. It's just one of the ethics behind the show, Fat Bassin itself. So what do you say, Dave? You think we're gonna head over to the Susquehanna River and treat our viewers to a little portion of that segment, try to catch some smallmouth bass?
I think that's a possibility. I mean, we are dedicated to diversity, and so I think, giving them a chance at some largemouth and smallmouth bass fishing will just enhance their knowledge even further.
Especially in the first show. You don't get this kind of stuff on the other shows, do you? More than one body of water in one day. What other show does that? Hank doesn't do that stuff. Bill doesn't do that stuff either. Jimmy, he doesn't offer those type of things either. So I think we might be beginning to be wrapping it up here. A few more casts. We get some action, I'm sure you'll see it. If not, we'll see you on the river. Just for the record here, this is the first time Team Bastard has been fishing in the snow. You see it here, folks. We haven't left yet.
This just shows our dedication, no matter what, wind, the rain, the snow now, every kind of weather you can possibly imagine, we've been there. That just shows why Fat Bassin is just a great show.
Take this. Yeah, like we said, we're in the snow here. We just thought, we just want everyone to know this is such a great show. That's why we're bringing this coverage to you. Look at this. The snow. We're out here. We're in the snow for you. For you guys.
Hold on.
To see us catch fish. We're out here in the snow suffering. And there goes a raccoon running across the pavement over there behind the canoes. Wait till do you see it going across? Look at the canoes. It's going right now. No. Even a wildlife segment on the show. I mean, what else could you ask for? All right, now that we've showed you the snow, batteries are running low. We don't know if we're gonna make it to the river or not. We're gonna give it a shot and see what happens. So we'll close again for real.
Well, welcome back to Fat Bassin. I'm your host, Dave Mitchell.
And I'm your other host, Justin McGinnis.
You know, we're back from a long day's worth of fishing, and you know, it was a great day out there. It was a little, it was a little bit cold, and fish just weren't biting, but you know, it just isn't, catching the bass that matters all the time.
That's right, Dave. It's just being out in the water, the feeling, just being in nature itself.
You know, you just get to appreciate nature at its fullest. But I mean, there were some things that we learned today. We learned that
To bring gloves.
we learned to bring gloves. We learned that bass don't bite in November.
It's way too cold to catch bass.
But I mean, if you were to fish, I mean, I think if we were to spend a good 10, 12 hours out there, we would have gotten bite.
Yeah. One thing we like to say formally, we're sorry about saying we had bites. It was him doing it, not me.
It was me.
Sorry, folks.
I have to apologize, but that's been my legacy throughout my fishing career. It may be a weed, and I got a bite. That's just what it feels like. But persistence pays off. If you treat everything like a bite, one day it'll turn out to be a fish. And there was one example. It happened to be June 29th.
Going all this. He caught a fat one time because thought it was a weed. Anyway, to sum it all up, this is the end of the show. It's our first show. We hope you folks at home liked it. We're getting better as we go along. Just hang in there with us. If we're making some mistakes now, we'll iron them out. You might see us again in Georgia this winter, fishing on the big Grand Lake Lanier. For spots.
Might even catch us again in November in Susquehanna River.
I doubt that's going to happen. It's getting cold out. The batteries die so quickly. If not in Georgia, I think we should sum it up. We'll see you in the spring at Pine Lake, catching them on sluggos and spinnerbaits.
Maybe some top water action. That'll be some excitement for you.
Possibly some top water action. So, I'm Justin McGinnis.
And I'm Dave Mitchell. Remember, you can't catch a fish unless your line's in the water.
We'll see you next time.
Well, we're heading into the bathroom.